Welcome back to the Gold IRA Blueprint podcast. Today we are diving deep into a topic that's probably on your mind as you plan for the future, and that is estate planning.
Absolutely.
We'll be exploring how gold IRAs can play a crucial role in securing your legacy, making sure things are taken care of the way you want them to be taken care of.
Yes.
And if you're looking to protect your hard-earned wealth and pass it on wisely, you are in the right place for that. So our deep dive today is based on an in-depth guide that focuses on using gold IRAs for wealth transfer across generations.
That's right. A lasting legacy. That's what we're talking about for loved ones. And gold IRAs can be a powerful tool.
They can. And if you want to get a head start on choosing the right gold IRA company for your needs, don't forget to grab our free checklist at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive. Okay, so let's break this down.
Yeah, let's do it.
Why is gold even part of this conversation?
Why is gold even relevant to estate planning?
Yeah.
Well, gold has these unique characteristics that make it really attractive for long-term planning. It's historically been considered a hedge against inflation and a safe haven during economic downturns.
Okay.
For example, during the 1970s, when inflation was just crazy high, gold saw returns of over 30% per year,
Wow.
significantly outperforming traditional stocks and bonds.
So even when the value of the dollar is going down, gold can hold its value or even increase.
Exactly. And you remember the 2008 financial crisis?
Yeah.
While the stock market just plummeted, gold prices actually increased by over 25%.
Wow.
This stability can be very reassuring for those looking to protect their wealth, especially for retirement.
Yeah, absolutely. I see how that could be appealing, especially with all the uncertainty in the markets these days. But how does this tie into a gold IRA specifically? Is it just about holding on to physical gold?
No, it's more than just holding gold. It combines the stability of gold with the tax advantages of a traditional IRA.
Good.
Your investments grow tax-deferred, meaning you don't pay taxes until you withdraw the funds.
All right.
And this tax advantage extends to your beneficiaries as well.
So it's like a double win potential protection against inflation and tax benefits.
Yes,
That sounds like a pretty good deal.
it is. And there are even strategies like stretch IRAs that can help your beneficiaries minimize their tax burden.
Oh, really?
Essentially, it allows them to spread out distributions over their lifetime, potentially saving a lot in taxes.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about you benefiting from the gold IRA, but also about setting up your heirs for success as well.
That's exactly right. And that's where careful estate planning comes into play.
Yeah.
When thinking about your gold IRA and how it fits into your overall estate plan, one of the key things to consider is beneficiary designation.
Beneficiary designation. Now, I've heard that term before, but I'm not entirely sure what it means in this context.
Right.
Can you explain it for our listeners who might not know?
Of course, beneficiary designation just means specifying who will inherit your gold IRA assets when you pass away.
Okay.
It's crucial to ensure that your gold IRA beneficiaries align with your overall estate plan
I see.
to avoid unintended consequences.
When you say aligned, what do you mean?
Yeah.
What kind of pitfalls are we talking about if things aren't properly set up?
Okay, so imagine this.
Okay.
You have a will that clearly divides your assets equally among your 3 children.
Okay.
But your gold IRA only lists your eldest child as the beneficiary.
Oh.
This could create conflict, potentially leading to legal challenges and unexpected tax implications.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's not just about the gold itself. It's about making sure all the paperwork is in order to avoid headaches down the road for your loved ones.
Exactly. And speaking of potential challenges, we can't overlook the impact of the Secure Act on inherited IRAs.
Oh, the Secure Act.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about the Secure Act, but I'm not really sure how it affects things like gold IRAs and estate planning.
Sure.
Can you break that down?
Certainly. The Secure Act, which was passed in 2019, significantly changed the rules for inheriting retirement accounts. Most non-spousal beneficiaries now have to withdraw all assets from an inherited IRA within 10 years of the original owner's passing.
Oh, wow. So if I understand correctly, this means beneficiaries can no longer slowly draw down those funds over their lifetime like they might have been able to do before.
That's right. That option is gone for most beneficiaries. This makes strategic planning even more crucial to minimize the tax impact on your heirs.
Okay, this is starting to sound a bit complicated, especially with the Secure Act and all these rules and regulations.
It can be, and that's why it's so important to work with knowledgeable professionals like financial advisors and estate planning attorneys. They can help you navigate these complexities and create a plan that truly meets your needs and goals.
That's good advice. You don't have to figure this all out on your own. There are experts who can guide you through the process. So we've covered beneficiaries and the Secure Act. What other estate planning considerations come into play with gold IRAs?
Okay, big one is IRS compliance.
Okay.
Remember, for your gold IRA to maintain its tax advantages, the gold itself has to meet certain standards.
Okay.
We're talking about 99.5% purity or higher, and it has to be stored in an IRS-approved depository.
I've heard about those storage requirements. Why is the storage location so important?
The IRS has very specific rules in place to ensure the integrity of gold IRAs.
Okay.
If you store the gold improperly or if it doesn't meet the purity requirements, the IRS could disqualify your IRA.
Oh,
And that could lead to some hefty penalties, which would defeat the purpose of having a gold IRA in the first place. It's not worth the risk.
so it's not enough to just buy gold. You have to make sure it's the right kind of gold and that it's stored in the right place. And to be sure you're doing it right, you can download our free checklist at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive.
Yes.
This checklist will help you choose the right gold IRA company for your needs.
Absolutely. It's all about protecting your investment and ensuring you reap those tax benefits for both you and your beneficiaries.
So we've covered the basics of gold IRAs and estate planning,
Right.
but what about some more advanced strategies?
Yeah.
Are there any specific techniques that can really enhance how gold IRAs work within an estate plan?
Yeah, there are definitely some advanced strategies that you can explore, and one that comes to mind is using trust structures.
Trusts.
Yeah.
I've heard that term before,
Yeah.
but to be honest, it always sounds a bit intimidating.
Sure.
Can you break it down for us in a way that's easy to understand?
Of course. In simple terms, a trust is a legal agreement where a trustee manages assets for the benefit of someone else called the beneficiary.
Oh.
You can actually hold your gold IRA within a trust,
Okay.
either a revocable trust, which you can change during your lifetime,
Yeah.
or an irrevocable trust, which is more permanent.
I see. So the trust basically acts as an extra layer of protection and control over your gold IRA assets. But when would using a trust actually make sense for someone?
That's a great question. Trusts can be particularly beneficial in situations where you want to ensure that your assets are used according to your wishes, even after you're gone.
Okay.
For example, let's say you have a beneficiary who's young or perhaps not very good at managing money. An irrevocable trust could help protect those inherited assets from being squandered. It allows you to set specific conditions for how and when the funds are distributed.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like adding a safety net to make sure your legacy is used responsibly. Are there any other scenarios where a trust might be a good idea?
Absolutely. Let's say you're concerned about protecting your assets from potential creditors.
Yeah.
Placing your gold IRA within a trust can shield it from certain claims, or you might have a beneficiary with special needs.
Yeah.
And a trust can help ensure they receive the financial support they need without jeopardizing any government benefits they might be eligible for.
It sounds like trusts offer a lot of flexibility and control, especially for people who have specific concerns about how their assets will be managed and distributed.
They do, but it's important to remember that trusts can be complex.
Right.
So it's crucial to work with an experienced estate planning attorney to determine if a trust is right for your situation and to ensure it's set up correctly.
Good point. You don't want to jump into something like that without expert guidance. Now, you mentioned earlier that gifting is another advanced strategy that can be used with gold IRAs. How does that work exactly?
Gifting can be a smart way to reduce the size of your taxable estate and potentially minimize estate taxes for your heirs. Remember, the 2025 annual gift tax exclusion allows you to gift up to $17,000 per recipient without incurring any gift tax. So you could strategically gift portions of your gold IRA's value to your heirs over time.
So I understand correctly, by gifting portions of my gold IRA each year, I can gradually reduce the overall value of my estate, which could lead to lower estate taxes down the road.
That's the idea. It's a way to transfer wealth to your loved ones while minimizing the tax burden. However, there are specific rules and regulations surrounding gifting.
Right.
So it's essential to consult with a financial advisor or estate planning attorney to ensure you're doing it correctly.
That's good advice. It seems like a lot of these estate planning strategies involve working closely with professionals to make sure everything is set up properly.
It does. Estate planning is a complex area with many nuances.
Right.
And it's always best to seek expert guidance to create a plan that truly meets your individual needs and goals.
Well said. Now, we've talked a lot about the benefits and strategies associated with gold IRAs and estate planning, but I think it's important to acknowledge that there can also be some challenges.
Yeah.
What are some potential downsides or things that people should be aware of?
One concern that often comes up is liquidity.
Okay.
Gold, by its nature, is not as liquid as other assets like stocks or bonds.
Okay.
It takes time to sell and convert it to cash,
Right.
especially if you're dealing with physical gold.
Yeah.
This can be an issue in estate settlements where immediate cash is needed for things like taxes or debts.
So if someone anticipates needing a large sum of cash quickly, maybe for estate settlement costs or other expenses, relying solely on a gold IRA might not be the best approach.
That's something to consider. However, it doesn't mean that gold has no place in your estate plan.
Right.
The key is to have a balanced portfolio.
Hmm.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak. Make sure you have a mix of liquid and illiquid assets to meet different needs.
Okay.
If you know you'll need cash quickly, you might want to hold other more readily accessible assets alongside your gold IRA.
So diversification is key, just like with any investment strategy. Having a mix of assets helps to mitigate risk and ensure you're prepared for various scenarios. What other challenges should people be thinking about?
Another potential challenge is valuation.
Okay.
Accurately valuing your gold holdings for estate tax purposes can be tricky.
I see.
It's important to remember that the value of gold can fluctuate.
Yeah.
To ensure compliance and avoid potential disputes during probate, you'll want to work with a certified appraiser who understands the nuances of valuing precious metals.
Finding a trustworthy and qualified appraiser sounds crucial then. But with so many options out there, it can be hard to know where to start. Any tips on how to find the right one?
Yeah. Do your research, look for appraisers who are certified by reputable organizations, like the American Society of Appraisers or the National Association of Jewelry Appraisers. Ask for recommendations from trusted sources,
Yeah.
like your financial advisor or estate planning attorney.
Okay.
Don't hesitate to interview multiple appraisers before making a decision. Make sure you're comfortable with their expertise, experience, and credentials.
That's great advice. It's all about due diligence and making sure you're working with someone who has your best interests at heart. So it sounds like there's a lot to think about
Yeah.
when it comes to incorporating gold into an estate plan.
As we wrap up our deep dive today, what are some key takeaways our listeners should remember about gold IRAs and how they can fit into their overall legacy planning?
Well, one thing to keep in mind is that a gold IRA is just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
It's not a magic bullet, but it can be a really valuable tool when used strategically.
Yeah.
I'd say the three pillars to focus on are wealth preservation tax advantages and legacy control.
Can you elaborate on those three pillars? What makes them so important when we're thinking about estate planning? Sure. When we talk about wealth preservation, we're talking about protecting your assets from things like inflation and market volatility.
Okay.
Gold has historically been seen as a safe haven during times of economic uncertainty.
Yeah.
A gold IRA can offer that level of stability that traditional investments might not.
Okay.
Then you have the tax advantages.
Right.
With a gold IRA, your investments grow tax deferred,
Yeah.
and your beneficiaries can potentially benefit from tax advantage distributions as well.
Okay.
And finally, there's legacy control.
Right.
With careful planning and strategies like trusts and gifting, you can have a lot of control over how your assets are distributed and used by future generations.
So it's not just about passing on wealth, it's about passing it on in a way that's protected, tax efficient, and aligned with your values.
Exactly. It's about peace of mind knowing that you've taken steps to safeguard your wealth and create a lasting legacy.
That makes sense. Now, we've covered a lot of ground today, from the basics of gold IRAs to more advanced strategies like trusts and gifting. If you're ready to take the next step and explore how a gold IRA can fit into your own estate plan, be sure to check out the free checklist at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive.
Yeah.
It's a great resource to help you choose the right gold IRA company for your needs.
It really is. And as a final thought, I would encourage all our listeners to think about what kind of legacy they want to leave behind.
Yeah.
If you could ensure one specific aspect of your legacy, what would it be? What values, what impact do you want to have on the world? Let those questions guide your estate planning decisions.
That's a powerful question and a great note to end on. Thinking about your legacy and what you want to leave behind can really give you a sense of purpose,
Absolutely.
like as you're planning for the future.
And remember, estate planning is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing process.
Right.
As your life changes, your needs and goals will change too. So it's important to review and update your estate plan regularly.
It's not about setting it and forgetting it. It's about making sure your plan stays relevant to your life. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into gold IRAs and estate planning. We hope you found it informative and insightful. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep building a legacy